30 miles per hour. We'll watch for rain showers as we go through the overnight hours. 40 our overnight lows. South winds will continue.
Good morning. Welcome to the Greg Belfrage Show. Great to have you along this morning. All right. Let's launch this baby.
The radio station you're listening to now is Callow. Our addresses are AM 1320, FM 105.1, and worldwide at callow.com. The Doctor of Discernment is on the air.
I love the Greg Belfrage Show.
I've been listening to you for years, Greg. Thanks for all you do and keeping us informed.
You sound a little taller on radio.
Dispensing a daily dose of common sense, no prescription required.
Americans love a winner and will not tolerate a loser. Americans play to win all the time.
I don't believe in the no-win scenario.
This is
Good morning, my friend. The marketplace of ideas is open. It's great to have you along. It's Tuesday, November 12th. And there's big news this morning that Donald Trump supposedly, according to reports, CNN first reported it. I saw it at foxnews.com this morning. It's breaking this morning that Donald Trump has selected Governor Kristi Noem as his next secretary of the Department of Homeland Security. So this is a report from CNN that, and again, now others are picking it up. According to two people familiar with the selection, it will be Governor Kristi Noem as the, and I will just say this, as I have been watching this this week, these reports that have kind of come out beforehand that, you know, sources are saying, and in every case that we've seen that it's wound up being true. I don't know that is the case here, but this is a story that is breaking today. So in the overnight hours is when the story really started getting steam this morning. And it's the top story at foxnews.com this morning. So Donald Trump selecting it reported that Trump has selected Governor Kristi Noem as the next secretary of the Department of Homeland Security. And it's Alejandro Mayorkas, who's currently the head of that department. And it's been an absolute train wreck, I think, during this administration. So Noem would take over the Department of Homeland Security. Also, Stephen Miller and Tom Homan. Then also, Tom Homan was big news yesterday, and we'll circle back to that here shortly. Stephen Miller, there are reports regarding Stephen Miller, and I think in a deputy position where he's at. So what you're seeing are Donald Trump choosing folks that are strong, have been very loyal to Trump, very committed to the country, and very serious about their jobs. So this is a big story this morning, and I welcome your thoughts on this. In fact, as soon as I saw this, wow. I shared this for those of you who follow me on Facebook. So, and I will get to some of those comments coming up later this morning. We'll also open up the phone lines later this morning, and we'll get your thoughts about the selection of Governor Kristi Noem as to be the head then of the Department of Homeland Security. So this will be a big, that's a huge agency, and the work that they do, I think, is incredibly important. Because I think that's become crystal clear during 4 years of the Joe Biden administration and Alejandro Mayorkas, and the absolute lies coming out of that guy's mouth has just been a little bit tough to take. So I'm trying to see if there are any reaction from anyone. I don't think there has been, again, because this story really is just breaking this morning. So again, CNN first reported it. The story is now, I saw it at foxnews.com and the New York Post this morning, saying that Governor Kristi Noem would be Donald Trump's choice then to head the Department of Homeland Security. We also know that Donald Trump has selected Senator Marco Rubio as his Secretary of State. So Rubio is currently in his third term in the U.S. Senate, and he would be a phenomenal choice. I think these selections that we're seeing, these are strong selections that Donald Trump is making. So Rubio has a background in intelligence. He's a great choice. And so there had been a lot of speculation about whether Rubio would take a role in the administration, and he did an interview on the world over recently, and he said, if there's a better place, if that's God's plan, or excuse me, if that's God's will and plan for my life, and then opportunity presents itself, I wouldn't close the door to it. So, and now there are questions about, okay, who would Florida Governor Ron DeSantis then appoint to replace Marco Rubio if he winds up taking that position? So it's sounding like that is a done deal. While we're talking about Florida, Trump also looking to Florida Congressman Mike Waltz. He will be the national security advisor. So it's this is one of those, it's a straight appointment. So Trump can make the appointment, does not have to be confirmed by the Senate. It's the same thing with Tom Homan. That's a position that does not need Senate confirmation. So Trump can just appoint Homan. He can just appoint Mike Waltz, and that's it. They're in. So Waltz has got an incredible record of service. If you know anything about Mike Waltz, he's a veteran Green Beret, served in Afghanistan, the Middle East, and Africa. And in his new position, then he will brief the president on national security matters. He's also responsible for coordinating between all of the national security agencies then in the federal government, according to the Wall Street Journal. So Trump looking for strength, national security advisor. I think that's what Donald Trump looking for, strength right out of the gate. I mentioned to you yesterday that Tom Homan had been chosen as Trump's new border czar. That's another appointment that does not need Senate confirmation. So Tom Homan is in. And I love this. Homan did an interview with the New York Post. And I really, really appreciate what he said. He said, I'm going to be extremely successful because I'm following failure. Yeah. That's one way to put it. Also, Donald Trump has tapped New York Representative Lee Zeldin to lead the Environmental Protection Agency. So remember that Zeldin had run for governor of New York and lost to Governor Kathy Hochul. But he was successful in delivering congressional seats during the midterm. And so Trump is selecting Lee Zeldin. And Zeldin told the New York Post, I'm deeply honored to have been asked by President Trump to serve in his cabinet. As EPA administrator, we will restore American energy dominance, revitalize our auto industry to bring back American jobs, make the United States the global leader of artificial intelligence advancement, and slash the red tape holding back American workers from upward economic mobility. I love this guy, Zeldin. And Trump said of Lee Zeldin, he said he's got a very strong legal background. He's been a true fighter for America First policies. He will ensure fair and swift deregulatory decisions that will be enacted in a way to unleash the power of American businesses while at the same time maintaining the highest environmental standards, including the cleanest air and water on the planet, Trump said. And he went on. So, also, we're learning now that Republicans maintaining their majority in the U.S. House of Representatives. This was announced yesterday. So Republicans then will keep control of the House of Representatives. It was been kind of iffy here since the election as the counts were going on. So this is a major win then for Speaker Mike Johnson. And this is, well, what that does then is it gives the Republicans the presidency, the Senate, and now the House the opportunity to really begin making change. And there can't be any messing around. This is not playtime. You know, we're at a point where this is not playtime. They have got to, they've got to move decisively, I think. And like their lives depend on it, seriously. And because their political lives, I believe, do depend on it. The American people are going to be watching very, very closely. Our promise, as Donald Trump said, promises made, promises kept. And that's what the American people will be looking at. What promises were made, what promises were kept. So pretty incredible. Also, it's now official that Representative Ruben Gallego of Arizona has defeated Kerry Lake in that state's Senate race. So he won the race for Arizona's open Senate seat, beating out Republican Kerry Lake. You've got to wonder then if there winds up being some position for Kerry Lake in a Trump administration, because the two of them have been incredibly close, and Kerry Lake has been just a phenomenal supporter of Donald Trump's. So it would not be unusual, I think, if we were to see Kerry Lake then wind up with some position in the Trump administration. So that's a couple of races now she has lost. She ran for Arizona governor and was defeated by Governor Katie Hobbs, and now defeated in her race for U.S. Senate by Representative Ruben Gallego. What that means for Kerry Lake moving forward, I think, remains to be seen. But the other stories this morning, this from the Washington Examiner, as to Donald Trump and what he's expected to do with the Space Force and its headquarters. So there has been dispute for a number of time. Where should the headquarters of Space Force be located? Colorado, which is where it wound up being, or Alabama, which is where Trump wanted it. Donald Trump wanted it in Alabama. Joe Biden wanted it in Colorado. And Colorado Representative Mike Rogers is saying that this will be one of the things that Donald Trump is going to settle as soon as he takes office. Rogers said President Trump said in the campaign that he was going to reverse that decision if elected. But I knew he would, because if you remember, not only did Alabama win 2 nationwide competitions, But President Trump's Secretary of the Air Force recommended Huntsville, and then Biden took it away for political reasons. But it's going to be a big point now because President Trump's already announced it. And I think you'll see in the first week that he's in office, he'll sign an executive order reversing Biden's directive. And we will start construction next year in Huntsville. And then, of course, you get other Republicans in Colorado who are they're against the move. They don't want to. And I understand that you've seen it in your home state, and you're trying to deliver for folks in your home state, and so opposing it. There's also, this is the top story this morning at CNN.com. Immigrants, their employers, and groups that work with them are already taking action ahead of Donald Trump's second term, in which he has promised to deport millions of people. Some fear how the administration could impact their families, while others are hopeful that actually it will make things better for them. A number of people are. So they're talking, as you know, the conversation has been very much about deportation and deportation and detention. And what's going on, the U.S.-Mexico border certainly is a priority. Tom Homan is going to be charged with a lot more than just the southern border, but that certainly is a priority. We see a number of the people who are coming up from other countries through Mexico, and the hand-wringing is already out there. That this is vicious, malevolent, cruel, and ruthless immigration policies. Oh, please, give me a break. We welcome people to come into the country. You come into the country, you've got to abide by the laws. You got to play by the rules. It's really just that simple. I think Americans understand this. Many of us do. Many Americans understand this. It's not about closing the country. Donald Trump couldn't have been clearer about that. As he was saying, we welcome people to come into the country, but you've got to do it legally. I'm tired of having to say that to these folks. It's because of the media. It's the left. And what do they do? It's fear, fear, fear. Well, if you would come into the country legally, you wouldn't have to worry now. And if you came into the country legally, then you've got proof, right? Then you've got proof to show you got paperwork, so on. You've got proof to show that you came into the country legally. I just don't get the frustration, and we're getting ready and we're pushing back, and it's vicious and it's cruel, and it's what? That you abide by the law? What's vicious and cruel about that? It's known that Donald Trump has made folks abide by the law if they want to come into the country. That's why it's been a free-for-all. And this is part of the reason why it's been so frustrating to watch the Joe Biden administration for the past 4 years and their approach. It was, yeah, come on in, bring it, get everybody you know, come on in. No wonder folks are scared now after being, those kinds of, and who was it who has done that? Joe Biden and the Democratic Party. I mean, that is their legacy. So the overreaction is a little bit much, I think, for at least me to stomach. Again, the big story this morning, I think, and we'll talk about this in more detail coming up this morning. If you're just joining us, Donald Trump apparently has selected Governor Kristi Noem to be the next Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security. She would replace Alejandro Mayorkas. Anybody is a step up from Mayorkas. I mean, anybody would be an improvement. I'm not saying this to criticize the governor at all. If she winds up then getting that, being assigned to that post and winning Senate confirmation, would be pretty incredible. So, Noam would be then tasked with overseeing everything from U.S. Customs and Border Protection and Immigration and Customs Enforcement to FEMA, the U.S. Secret Service. All of those things fall under the Department of Homeland Security. So that would be an incredible appointment. And again, that's a story that's just began breaking this morning. And that's a look at the big stories today here on Kello. Thanks so much for starting your day with the Greg Belfrage Show. It's great to have you along. Clear skies and 36. And this hour of our show brought to you by the Window Shop of Mitchell, offering custom windows starting at $99 a month.
Weekdays at 2. Kello News Talk 1320, 107.9.
The Kello Hotline is brought to you by Tires. See in-store details about how to get rebates from major tire manufacturers. 2 Sioux Falls locations to serve you.
There are certain things in life we put off and wish we just wouldn't have to face. Dentistry is often one of these fears for many people. At Infinity Sedation Dentistry, formerly Sioux Falls Sedation Dentistry, they've treated many people with gag reflexes, needle phobias, claustrophobia, and others who've just had a bad experience in their past. Patients tell us they wish they could just fall asleep, wake up, and be done. You can. At Infinity Sedation Dentistry, we understand your fears and provide you with a relaxed environment customized for your comfort. Come and see Dr. Proudy or Dr. Hilly and our team of registered nurses and board-certified anesthesiologists who will provide you with the predictable and safe treatment you deserve. And ask about
this week has just been
single-visit crowns and
kicking the heck out of me. I feel like it's only Tuesday. Feels like Thursday morning to me.
While you sleep.
My car has just been a nightmare. Had my car in now. The engine light, check engine light keeps coming on. I've had it in 3 times now because it keeps coming back on. So it's in now for the 3rd time. So I'm driving a loaner vehicle this morning. It actually is a lot nicer than mine. So.
Is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD.
I told them last time I took my car in, I said, and
don't delay. Ask your doctor about
got it. Had items repaired. Wasn't causing the problem, I think, but had some items repaired. And I told them afterward, I said, thank you so much, but I hope you understand. I hope not to see you again soon. And I think I jinxed myself as soon as I said it.
Tomorrow, mostly cloudy with rain showers, especially during the morning hours. Well, the high temperature of 52. For the Kettleland right down there, HD Storm Center, Scotland.
And currently in Sioux Falls at 6:29, clear skies and 36. Hey, it's great to have you along this morning. Hey, we're giving away tons of stuff for you today. We've got the Kello History Quiz we do every day coming up at around 10 minutes before 8 this morning. Also, I've got a family 4-pack of tickets to the Sioux Falls Stampede. They're playing tonight. This is a rare Tuesday night game. So they're playing tonight at the Denny Sanford Premier Center. So coming up this morning, in fact, we'll do this before 7:30, just before 7:30. I'll give you a chance to win a family 4-pack of tickets to see the Sioux Falls Stampede. They're taking on the Sioux City Musketeers tonight. So that should be a great game. And then, of course, we've got copies of the Big Sioux coupon book. We'll give those away coming up around 8:25 this morning. Give you a chance to win those. So lots of chances to win this morning on the Greg Belfrage Show. It's great to have you along. Fox News is next. You're listening to Kello.
Reportedly set to name Florida Senator Marco Rubio as his Secretary of State nominee while he spends no time picking other members of his cabinet. President-elect Trump tapping former Congressman Lee Zeldin to lead the Environmental Protection Agency. Another New Yorker, Congresswoman Elise Stefanik, is accepting the nomination to be the next U.S. ambassador to the UN. That's Fox's Aisha Hasni. The remaining U.S. Senate races has been decided. Democrat Ruben Gallego defeating Republican Carrie Lake, addressing supporters in Phoenix.
I'm a husband, a Marine, a father, and a proud Arizonan. And with the results we saw tonight, your next senator from the great state of Arizona.
The Senate balance of power is 53 Republicans to 47 Democrats. America's listening to Fox News.
News brought to you by Sioux Falls Implant and Sedation Dentistry. They fix your teeth while you sleep.
Kello News Time, 6:31. I'm Joe Bowman in the Kello.com News Center. According to CNN and Fox News, President-elect Donald Trump is expected to select South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem to be the new Homeland Security Secretary. If selected, Noem would work with Tom Homan, who was announced as Trump's border czar on Sunday. An official announcement from Trump or Noem has not been made as of Tuesday morning. Senator John Thune will learn tomorrow if he's the new Senate Majority Leader. Thune and Senators John Cornyn of Texas and Rick Scott of Florida are vying to succeed Kentucky Senator Mitch McConnell as Republican leader of the U.S. Senate. Republicans took back the majority in the Senate, gaining 4 seats this election, making a 53-47 count in the upper chamber. President-elect Trump has not endorsed any of the 3 senators. Senate Republicans will vote by secret ballot tomorrow for the new Senate Majority Leader. Ethan Elementary School is making a name for itself. It's been selected as one of the 2 South Dakota National Distinguished Schools. Superintendent Tim Hawkins says students outperform state averages in English language arts, math, and science.
I've got a staff down here that really takes pride in what they're presenting to their students, and we got students that take pride in learning those things.
The school also boasts an attendance rate of 97%, which Hawkins believes is key to their success. New laws are in place to help mitigate air travel headaches this holiday season. Here's Lucinda Kay with the details.
The new rules are supposed to help you in the middle of delays, cancellations, and lost luggage. Refunds for canceled or significantly delayed flights are now automatic.
I went to their website to see if they had anything this morning when I was prepping, and I didn't see anything.
I don't check Fox News, CNN News
usually. No, nor should you. Nor should you. So that's what I do.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So it actually works out because I didn't blow the lead for you.
Thanks, Joe.
Number 5 in this week's FCS Top 25, and the Sioux Falls Skyforce returned to Heritage Court for their season opener tonight, tipping off against the Iowa Wolves. From the Kello.com News Center, I'm Joe Bowman.
The news never stops. Kello News Talk 1320 107.9.
Mostly sunny skies for today. High temperature 52. We will have an increasing southeast wind, 15 to 30 miles per hour. We'll watch for rain showers as we go through the overnight hours. 40 our overnight lows. South winds will continue. Mostly cloudy for tomorrow. We'll continue to have showers during the day and a high temperature of 52. From the Kettleland Live Doppler Storm Center, I'm Scott Mark.
What was that?
I just want to bring up a point here.
This is where to go when you've got something to say.
You have to tell these people what they want to know.
Kello News Talk 1320 107.9.
If you've ever wondered what happens to the massive amounts of military data China's spies steal from the United States, look no further than its newest jet fighter aircraft, a nearly identical design to America's new F-35 stealth fighter used by the U.S. Air Force, Navy, and Marine Corps. I'm Tim Commando for T-Mobile. Their advanced network now goes farther than ever before. Visit T-Mobile.com/55. America spent more than 20 years and $2 trillion to produce our new F-35 jet fighter. China has 5 years to duplicate it using hundreds of terabytes of stolen military secrets. We've all grown somewhat immune to China's spying, but China's ill-gotten gains were rolled out for everyone to see at China's International Aviation and Aerospace Exhibition. To add insult to injury, China calls its stolen F-35 the J-35, and there's a good chance that someday they'll be using our tech against us. Sign up for my free newsletter at getkim.com. Hey friends, Kim here. You know, it seems the older you get, the savvier you become at saving money. I really hate to overspend on things, especially the necessities. But thanks to T-Mobile, I don't have to worry about overpaying for wireless service, so I've got more time and money to spend on other things. At T-Mobile, customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for just $30 a month per line. That's a 45% savings versus Verizon and AT&T. Plus, Scam Shield Premium is included, which means fewer scam calls and more tools to help you optimize and organize your mobile life. Experience all this and more with T-Mobile, America's largest 5G network. Don't miss out. Get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for $30 a month per line at T-Mobile. Visit T-Mobile.com or your local store to make the switch and save.
With auto pay using debit or bank account plus taxes and fees. 25% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. See details. Capable device required for Scan Shield. Print on Scan Block. My block calls you want. Disable anytime.
The Kim Commando Show. Live Saturday mornings at 9. Kello News Talk 1320 107.9.
The Kello Hotline is brought to you by Tires, your Give You More tire and automotive store. Financing programs available. 2 Sioux Falls locations to serve you.
Leaves are falling. Get your gutters cleaned and replace this fall and get ahead of the predicted wet, heavy snow with ABC Seamless. Voted local best 20 years in a row. They'd like to thank Sioux Falls. Call today.
ABC Seamless. Hello, this is Mother Nature. All my little creatures are settling into hibernate for the cold winter. But are you ready? Call your friends at Extreme Heating and Cooling, a Reed Pro partner. Get ready for hibernation. Extreme Heating and Cooling, always there when you need them.
Big transmission problem or minor repair. It takes an expert to know. Hi, this is Greg Belfrage for the experts at Jim's National Transmission, downtown at 4th and Weber. When having transmission problems, it's always best to go to a specialist. Most auto repair places will simply replace your transmission, costing you 50 to 70% more than if you went to a transmission specialist. Do yourself a favor and save yourself time and money by taking your vehicle to the pros at Jim's Transmission. They know all the ins and outs of automatic transmission diagnosis. Jim's Transmission, the transmission-only specialist, where transmissions are all they do. Check out their website at jimsautotrans.com for coupons and specials. You'll find their phone number there, too, jimsautotrans.com. That's jimsautotrans.com. Jim's National Transmission, downtown at 4th and Weber.
Okay, some mornings you might not have that get up and go.
But at least you can get up and know.
The Greg Belfrage Show, with insightful opinions on the latest stories and frequent weather updates. It'll get you in the know while you're getting ready to go. Kello News Talk 1320.
638, clear skies and 36. Good morning and welcome to the Greg Belfrage Show. It's so great to have you along. In fact, I want to congratulate Kenny Mork, Dennis Siegling, Mike Carolyn. They won tickets to see Jim Brickman at the Washington Pavilion this Sunday, among our many winners. So thanks to all of you who texted to win the tickets to see Jim Brickman. So I selected winners yesterday. Let everybody know. If you would like tickets to see Jim Brickman, find more information, purchase your tickets at WashingtonPavilion.org. This hour of the Greg Belfrage Show brought to you by the Window Shop of Mitchell, offering custom windows starting at $99 a month.
What's trending now?
Add them on Facebook.
Let the tweeting begin. The hashtag does that. News and views from Belf's News Gallery.
Well, Donald Trump has selected Marco Rubio to be his Secretary of State. So a number of people told the New York Times about the decision, and it's everywhere this morning. So Marco Rubio apparently will be Donald Trump's choice for Secretary of State. He had been floated for some time, among other people that were being considered. So he has been known as a hawk for some time, but has moderated his views then recently, according to the Washington Examiner, to be more in step with Donald Trump. Also, Donald Trump has picked Representative Mike Waltz of Florida to serve as his national security advisor. That's according to a report from the Wall Street Journal. So this has been confirmed, and this is one of those appointments that does not require Senate confirmation. Same thing with Tom Homan. That does not require Senate confirmation. Trump can just make that appointment. Also, Donald Trump yesterday named Lee Zeldin, former congressman from New York, to lead the EPA. Trump's statement, he released a statement on Zeldin, and he said that Zeldin will ensure fair and swift deregulatory decisions that will be enacted in a way to unleash the power of American businesses, Trump said. And then he said Zeldin will also maintain the highest environmental standards, including the cleanest air and water on the planet, Trump said. Also, Donald Trump expected to announce Stephen Miller as Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy. This is a story from CNN. So Miller's a name that may be known to you. He's been on the Clay and Buck program a number of times. You may have heard Stephen Miller. He served as a senior advisor to Trump, was his lead speechwriter during Trump's first administration. He has been an advocate for more restrictive immigration policy, and he is expected to take on an expanded role then in Trump's second term. So Stephen Miller, as Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy. Also, a number of all of Donald Trump's appointments are trending this morning. Some of these we talked about yesterday. For instance, Elise Stefanik being named as Trump's choice for UN ambassador. And Trump said of Elise, she's an incredibly strong, tough, and smart America First fighter, Trump said of Elise Stefanik. And she said during her conversation with Trump, she told him how deeply humbled I am to accept his nomination and that I look forward to earning the support of my colleagues in the United States Senate. Also, we talked about this yesterday, but Donald Trump actually announced this one on Sunday. And the story is still trending this morning. Tom Homan, who is the former director of U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, will be Trump's new border czar. And we talked about that at length yesterday. Also, Donald Trump is telling those, now again, we should know who the next Senate Republican leader is. What is that election? I think it's coming up tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. We're hours away from knowing who the next Senate majority leader will be. And so Trump then said, whoever it is, he said, any Republican senator seeking the coveted leadership position in the U.S. Senate must agree to recess appointments, he said, without which we will not be able to get people confirmed in a timely manner. Sometimes the votes can take 2 years or more. This is what they did 4 years ago, and we cannot let it happen again. So there are 3 names that I have seen out there is Senator John Cornyn of Texas, Rick Scott of Florida, and of course Senator John Thune of South Dakota. Speaking of the U.S. Senate, Senator-elect Dave McCormick, I'm curious, did he? Because Fox News had a story about a senator. It was Senator Mike Lee who offered to personally escort Senator-elect Dave McCormick into the Capitol to attend the new senator orientation. I haven't seen anything as to whether or not that happened or not. Chuck Schumer had said he was not invited, but McCormick was going to show up anyway. And so Senator Mike Lee, I didn't see anything this morning as to how that may have went, as to whether or not McCormick did show up. One of the problems with trending news stories is that they kind of lag behind actual events sometimes. You see that happen, in fact, quite often. Okay, other stories trending this morning. The president, vice president, honored veterans during a wreath-laying ceremony at Arlington yesterday. It was the Veterans Day ceremony. First time the president and vice president have been seen together since the election. So the president delivered remarks. He paid tribute to veterans and their families. President saying, we have many obligations, but only one truly sacred obligation, sacred. Prepare those we send into harm's way and to care for them and their families when they return home and when they don't, he said. So this will be the last time the president then participating in Veterans Day ceremonies as commander-in-chief. And the president said, it's been the greatest honor of my life to lead you, to serve you, to care for you, to defend you, just as you defended us generation after generation after generation. Now, we're talking about Veterans Day yesterday. There's also a story trending about a World War II soldier who was killed in France in 1944. And he has now been identified. And his remains will be reburied at Arlington National Cemetery. So military officials said, we're talking about it this week. So 19-year-old Jeremy Mahoney of Chicago was killed in 1945 during a weeks-long battle in France. And he had been assigned to the Army's anti-tank company. And now they issued a finding of death for him. His body could not be recovered due to heavy fighting at the time. So at some point in 1945, January 17th, 1945, Mahoney was killed, but due to the intensity of the fighting, his unit could not recover his body. They were forced to withdraw from the area. And they said with no record of German forces capturing Mahoney and no remains recovered, the War Department issued a finding of death in January 1946. And this just goes on. So his remains were actually recovered in 1946, but they were unable to be identified at the time, and they were buried at the Ardennes American ceremony in Belgium. And so 2 years ago, this is an incredible story. His remains were exhumed from the cemetery and returned home. Other stories trending this morning. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu confirmed over the weekend that Israel was indeed behind the pager attacks that killed or wounded thousands of Hezbollah terrorists back in September, disrupted the group's communications. They're admitting it. I don't think there was ever any doubt about that, was there? That's what had happened. Okay, Nick Bosa is trending again today. This is incredible. So there's a recent video of Trump, dancing the YMCA to conclude one of his rallies. And so Bosa has been fined for showing off his MAGA hat this week. He was fined over $11,000, which is, for him, that's not a big amount of money. For you and me, it would be, but for him, it's not. But he, while celebrating a sack, was out there doing the Donald Trump YMCA dance. So keep your eyes on Nick Bosa. It's pretty incredible. I shared this story with you yesterday about this FEMA official who allegedly told workers to avoid homes in Florida. They were down there following the destruction of Hurricane Milton, right? And so they're down. FEMA is down there, and she told workers then there were a number of homes that had Trump signs, in the yard or whatever, Trump banners, and she told them to avoid those homes. Well, she was fired this week, and now she's been identified. New York Post has a photo of her this morning. Marnie Washington was sacked because she told disaster relief workers in Florida not to go to homes with yard signs supporting President-elect Trump. So this story, Deanne Criswell, who is the administrator of FEMA, made these comments on Saturday, and they're still trending this morning. And it's absolutely incredible. It's not surprising, though, that the poison that is out there for, I just think I fear the federal government is just rife with this kind of stuff, with this kind of hatred and animosity for Donald Trump, and then citizens who support Donald Trump. And the inability then of people to take themselves out of that and be able to render resistance to those who are just devastated by this hurricane. It's shocking to me. I can't imagine ever being so incredibly selfish. Also, Russia has massed tens of thousands of troops, part of a major effort to retake land in the Kursk region that was seized by Ukraine. So I don't know how likely that's going to be when they are depending on North Korea to provide additional troops and manpower. I think it says something about Russia's military and how successful Ukraine has been at, because there was a time that nobody could have, none of these neighboring countries could have stood up to Russia's military. And that war is ongoing, and that's no longer the case. You see Ukraine, it really, and when Russia starts turning to North Korea for additional troops. Also, a man in New Jersey is charged with starting one of many wildfires that's been burning throughout that state. So they are set to suffer their worst drought in 20 years. And so this man was charged with arson and violating firearms regulations on Friday. He's accused of starting the shotgun wildfire. It was the ammunition and the rounds that he was using. It was started by magnesium shards from a Dragon's Breath 12-gauge shotgun round, according to prosecutors. And that magnesium in that is what started the fire, is what authorities are saying. Also, a hospital worker in California has identified a fugitive from Tennessee who authorities say murdered a man and tried to stage the scene as a bear attack. So they arrested him over the weekend, Sunday evening, because an alert employee at a hospital recognized him and let authorities know, and they took him into custody. And then fingerprint scans showed that, yeah, he was exactly the man that they were looking for. He was taken into custody of U.S. Marshals, waiting extradition back to Tennessee. And then also murder suspect Richard Allen. This is the Delphi murders suspect. Richard Allen found guilty yesterday after 21 days, one of the most high-profile trials in Indiana history. So sentencing was set for December 20th, but again, he was found guilty yesterday. And that's a look at the stories trending this morning in Belf's News Gallery. Thanks so much for starting your day with the Greg Belfrage Show. This hour is brought to you by the Window Shop of Mitchell, offering custom windows starting at $99 a month.
To the world, outer space, and beyond.
Well, thank you so much, my friend, for starting your day with us. I really appreciate it. Please return for the fourth hour, which is at 9:30 every weekday morning. So I will see you again then. You take care. Have a great Tuesday.
And there are